Hello everybody, in this video we're going to talk about how you can build self-confidence and how I was able to do that as well. This is a topic that I've been wanting to make a video about for a long time because it has everything to do with your personal life, your business life, and all things in between. So we're going to get into some stories about my personal life as well and how I develop my self-confidence. This is the kind of content I really want to talk about on this channel, so please be sure to support the channel by liking the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you watch the video till the end because it really helps me out with the YouTube channel. Another announcement I wanted to make, the one-on-one consultations for my program are now open. You can find out more information about that in the description. More about that towards the end, okay? So today, let's talk about self-confidence. I've certainly had a very, very long journey with self-confidence. I was someone who was as far from confidence as you can possibly imagine. I know you might be watching this video right now and you're like, this guy sounds like a smooth talker. He doesn't sound like he's got any confidence issues, but I can tell you growing up, confidence was the number one issue I struggled with throughout my childhood, throughout my teens, throughout my 20s as well, up until where I am now. It's only now that I've gotten comfortable with who I am and where I am in my life. I want to start out by just giving you a perspective on where I started. I used to be a very, very shy, introverted kid. Very shy. I wouldn't really participate too much in class. I'd kind of keep to myself. And even when I was playing, I would always play with myself. And I didn't really know how to express myself. I didn't really know how to voice myself. I didn't really know how to talk to other people about things that I was interested in. I grew up around a lot of people who were cool and in school and college, and I just never was that. I was always into the nerdy things. I was always into the not so cool things, and I was almost trying to hide these things, like, oh, I watch anime, that's not cool, or I like Pokemon and that's not cool, any of that stuff. So growing up, I developed this pattern in my head that every single thing that I'm doing, I should just keep it to myself and not express it so that I don't get embarrassed, right? Because the more I express myself, the more embarrassed I'm going to get, and that's going to be a problem. And ultimately, from my childhood all the way to my teens, all the way to my 20s, that same mindset traveled across the board. And it really affected other places in my life. So because I didn't express myself, because I never believed in myself, I never even tried something. I would always give up before I would even try. So when I got grades from school and I was applying to college for the first time, I didn't even try to apply because I thought I was going to get rejected. I thought my grades weren't good enough because all of my other friends were getting straight A's and I didn't quite have straight A's, but I had pretty decent results, right? But I just disqualified myself. I said, I'm not going to get in. So I purposely applied to all the crappy colleges or the colleges that weren't really high up there because I didn't believe in myself, right? And I really, really struggled with a self-confidence issue. And that happened time and time again. I did the same thing when I was applying for universities. I did the same thing when I was, I don't know, every other opportunity that would come, I would always disqualify myself. Same thing with dating as well. Like I would look at people and be like, oh, I can never, I'm not in this person's league. I can't even try. So you can see how the self-confidence thing, it spread out into a lot of different areas, okay? Now, what I realized is I was chasing a lot of things externally without really working on myself. I was chasing things like getting into the best college or dating someone who's really attractive or getting a lot of money. Well, actually, that's something I wasn't focusing on at all. I was just trying to pay my debt off. But I was just trying to focus on all these external things, and nothing ever worked, right? Because I was always too focused in on those things, and I would never work on myself. Now, this is what I realized I need to work on myself and get into self-development, personal development. And you would think that getting into personal development would help you out, but for me, it actually had the opposite effect. I got into this self-help loop where I thought I was at point B, and I'll read a self-help book, I'll read another self-help book, and I'll need to run another, and eventually I'll get to this point where I want to be confident. I'll watch one video, two videos, three videos on YouTube about how to be confident, and I'll be confident. But it never freaking happened. It never happened. I've seen every video you can imagine on confidence, how to build confidence. It never built any confidence in me, okay? Now here is the game changer for me. This is what I realized. You have to throw yourself at the deep end of things and allow yourself to suffer. Now, this might sound a little out there, but this is how I learned, okay? I was so good at finding ways around getting to where I wanted to go. So if I wanted to be more confident in public speaking, instead of actually speaking in public, I would read all kinds of books on public speaking. I would watch all kinds of videos on public speaking, but I would never actually do the thing because it was so difficult, because it was so challenging. And I did this with everything: how to be confident in dating situations, read all the dating books, watch all the dating channels, how to be better at networking, watch all the networking YouTube videos, read all the networking books, never actually go out there and network. This is what fundamentally changed my perspective, because when I finally started getting into public speaking for the first time, I was terrified. I hated speaking in public because I didn't know how to do it. I had read all these books, but I never really knew how to actually get in front of people and deliver a speech. Up until I walked into a public speaking club one day with the full intention of doing it just the one time, but I kept pushing myself again and again and again. And I realized every single thing that I read in the books did not apply, because the problems that I thought I would have were not the problems I actually had. So for example, with public speaking, I thought my problem was I'm going to be very nervous, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to forget my words and I'm going to embarrass myself. I thought those were my problems. So I was looking for solutions to those problems. The problem, I realized after doing speech over speech over speech, was because I was trying to memorize everything. I was trying to memorize every single word, and when I would actually come out and say those things, I couldn't remember everything. So then I realized you don't need to memorize everything. What you need is a structure. You need a structure for your speech. And that's something I realized only by doing it time and time again. The other thing I realized doing my speeches is I was holding my hands really, really tightly. Every time I'm nervous, I'm just doing this weird stuff with my hands. And it's a tell. And you only realize this when you go in the open and you try things out. So if you're someone who's trying to develop confidence right now, take this same approach where instead of finding ways, instead of Googling ways, instead of YouTubing ways to get over something, try to do something and suck at it. Okay? Suck at something. If you're trying to build your confidence, what are you trying to build your confidence in? Is it in front of people when you're speaking? Is it in front of your colleagues or peers? Is it in front of women when you're trying to date? Where are you trying to build more confidence? Okay? When you go out there and you put yourself out there more and more and more, you will realize what your sticking points are. You will realize where you are getting stuck. You will realize what you have to improve. So instead of diagnosing your problem before you even know what the problem is, go out there and try it before you diagnose yourself and figure out what the real problem is, okay? So now the same thing applies with my business and the coaches that I'm working with. When I'm working with coaches, I have to show them, listen, you are worth more. You can charge more for your service. This is what my entire program is around. And again, you can find more information about that in the description. What I have to show them is how they can develop confidence in themselves and in what they're selling, so that they can communicate that to the client and then they can earn more revenue because of it. This is something I struggled with as well. I didn't have that confidence. So when I started my own business, I was charging ridiculously low for my services because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in myself because I hadn't done it before. I was reading all these books about pricing and how to talk about higher pricing, but all I had to do was do it enough times and figure out what the problem is and polish up those problems up until it wasn't a problem anymore. So what I'm really trying to tell you here, if you are trying to build self-confidence, instead of skipping all the steps and finding the solution, try to do the same thing that you want to do. If you want to build confidence, pick the area of confidence you want to develop it in and do those things time and time again and do them terribly. Do them terribly long enough till you know what the real problem is and then troubleshoot it. Now, accordingly, what you'll also have to do is build really, really effective habits. You'll need to recognize what is your cue. If you have an issue with public speaking, you're really nervous. What is it about public speaking that makes you nervous? Is it you waiting to go up and to speak? Or maybe is it when you're actually in front of people? Or maybe afterwards people are looking at you? What part of it makes you nervous? And then you reverse engineer that. Then you figure out how can I solve this? How can I solve this? How can I solve this? And you do it one at a time, okay? This is something I talk about in great detail in my program as well. And I just want to leave you with this message. Instead of thinking you're not a confident person and you need to get to becoming confident, you can't transform yourself overnight. What you have to do is put in consistent efforts to show yourself that you can do it, to build reference experience. Do it enough times and do it badly then your mind starts believing, okay, even if we don't do it well, we can still do it time and time and time and time again. My first speeches weren't fantastic, right? I was doing it again and again, and I was very mediocre up until I got really good at it. And that's because I convinced my mind that it's okay to try it. It's okay to try it and fail at it, okay? That's all I'm going to leave you guys with today. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please make sure to subscribe to the video. Again, the one-on-one consults for my program are open. You can check it out in the description. I usually work with entrepreneurs and coaches who are really trying to increase their revenue, but they find there's some sort of a mental block where they can't believe in themselves or their services enough to charge higher. So if you're interested in that, check it out in the description. Guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. See you next time. Take care.